This race is brought to you by Protexol, proud sponsor of the SVT Renegade Racing League. Join our live broadcast every Sunday on the Slide Job Racing Network. Season 3 is underway now. This race is brought to you by Protexol, proud sponsor of the SVT Renegade Racing League. Join our live broadcast every Sunday on the Slide Job Racing Network. Season 3 is underway now. Our lobby opens at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and racing begins at 7. For more information about the league or to join, follow SVT Renegade Racing on Facebook. Protexol. It delivers, people act. Visit Protexol.com to learn more. Enjoy tonight's race.
We're back from the holidays on the SVT Renegade Racing League. Heads to the Bluegrass State, Kentucky Speedway for 100 laps of intermediate action. Happy New Year and hope you had a great holiday. So glad you could join us on Slide Job Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you. Well, a couple weeks ago before we went on break for the holidays, we had our first two-time winner of the season in Joseph Cosby. We could, and I mean we could possibly see that happen once again. Guys up there like Michael Casey, for example, he's won a race. Mark Morton's won a race. Same with Johnny Hurst and maybe even Richard Hurst. But we'll just have to see what happens here at Kentucky Speedway. The final cup race at Kentucky Speedway was done with this package, and it provided a heck of a race. Could it possibly be this way? We'll just have to see what happens. As you take a look at Dalton Steele, as he puts his first lap up on the board. And Steele clocks in third quick, 29.64. While we are waiting for him to finish his second lap, let's pull up the point standings as he has the points lead, and a pretty good points lead, coming on in 211 to 186 on Michael Casey. 6 points behind Casey is Mark Morton, who is third in points. Then it's Johnny Hurst, fourth with 162. Richard Harmon, the third, is fifth with 161. And again, keep in mind that all happens with the two-race drop that the drivers have. Steele up to second, 29.57, unable to beat Michael Casey's 29.56. Let's go to the ace, Matthew Barker, as he's on lap number 2 in the number 96. Bunch of new schemes some drivers have, of course, with the 2-week break, giving drivers an opportunity to make some new designs, some 2024 paint schemes, as Barker goes to eighth quick better on lap 2 with a 29.76. So qualifying is done. It's now time to meet our field that are set to take the green. Here is your starting lineup for tonight's event. Michael Casey on pole position in car number 6. And again, his time, you see it on the screen, a 29.563. Next to him, Dalton Steele, who is 100th off the pace. He's on the outside of row number 1. Mark Morton lines up at the inside of row number 2. And the 48 next to him is Jeff Scott in car number 38. Row number 3 on the inside, it's James Wagner, who is in car number 30, and next to him, Richard Hartman, the third in the 52. Row number 4, Jacob Plank making his debut in the 153. Next to the ace, Matthew Barker in the 96. Rounding out the top 10 this evening, Paul Helms in car number 64, and Bradley Worley in the 88. Row number 6, Dom Salvo in the 24, next to Greg Jolly in the number 13. Row 7, it's Jonathan Vandenberg making his return in the number 26, next to Richard Hurst in car number 15. Row number 8, Peter Hartman in the 12, next to Chris Melton, also making his debut in the 49. And rounding out the field, Brandon Hinton making his debut with us this season, next to Jeffrey Ledford, Auto Club winner earlier this season, Ledford in car number 01. As we wait for the rest of the field to grid here, let's take a look at your race analysis here for this evening. 100 laps around the 1.5 mile racetrack for about 150 miles. Fuel window, we are calculating between 60 to 70 laps. Drivers have a lot of sets, 6 sets of tires, and then 1 quick repair that the drivers all have coming on in. This is a track that does eat up tires. That's going to be very critical coming into the game, especially late in the going. Again, we're just waiting for the pace car to roll off, which it does now. And we're glad you could join us here on the Slide Job Racing Network this evening. Let us know who you're rooting for in chat. Hello to Davis Gaming. Good to see you back in the chat. And yeah, if you're interested in doing a live stream with us, I tell you what, I'm going to put in a link here in the chat just a moment while we pull that up to put in your request. That's the link of our to our channel website, and of course, if you want to put in a request to broadcast the link, let us know, and we'd love to help you out. And then, of course, we also have live timing available. Both those options are in the chat. Noma TV tuned in. Definitely appreciate the support. Hopefully, we have a good race come our way too. And Brittany's tuned in, wishing all the drivers the best of luck. Well, it's the second broadcast of the year on Slide Job Racing Network. The first one on asphalt. And we're looking forward to 2024 and seeing what it will bring us. Field's in the hands of Michael Casey and Dalton Steele as the pace car pulls onto pit road. We say, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Happy 2024 at the Bluegrass State. It's showtime in Kentucky. Warren's got to run for the race lead into turn number 3 as he hugs the yellow line, and off the corner, the Lowe's number 48. A winner earlier this season to lead the opening lap. They were just 4 wide for a moment, with Matt Barker going 2 for 1 to move his way up to the 5th position. And now he starts to move longer way around on Jacob Plank for 4th. Good qualifying spot for Plank, starting at the 7th spot, and has made his way up to P5. Kentucky Speedway will be a track, as I mentioned, that is going to be about tires. And when it comes to driving this place, you know, I've driven a truck here before, never really driven an Xfinity Series or a Cup Series ride. But this is a car that I would assume you can keep it wide open in turns 1 and 2, but you'd have to let off in turn number 3 because of how flat it is. So you can set it in if you want, but it's going to eat up your tires. 2nd or 3rd groove also the possibility. You see the front 4 on the track sliding up to try and get as much banking as they can. Here comes Casey. Pitched his nose underneath the quarter panel of Morton and looks for the race lead. Good race happened here with Wagner and Barker just watching behind, on board with the number 30. Morton somehow finds a way to keep it out in front. Now Wagner doesn't get a run in turn 1. Nope, he decided to let off the throttle. Allow Casey to take 2nd. Let's go back to the race for 5th. This is a 6-man battle for 5th spot. Scott and Plank door to door into turn number 3. So we have Bradley Worley, Dalton Steele. Steele all the way back in 7th after he started 2nd. So not a good start for the driver of the 45, who's still looking for that first win of the season. Now he's low on Plank to take away the 6th spot. It's 3 wide once again as Worley set it in deep on the top shelf. Now we go back up to the front as Casey wants to get side by side again with Morton into the 3rd corner. Morton, can he clear here? I think he was able to, thanks to the draft of James Wagner. Now Wagner tried to get the draft of Morton to help him out and maybe try and get that 2nd spot. but not going to work out on his end. You see as well on the bottom of the leaderboard, Peter Hartman in car number 12. Leaders are starting to approach him. If you look closely in the background of your screen, he just came across the start-finish line. That small dot back there. Remember, he missed the clock into grid. The 2-minute limit. Because of that, he had to start from pit road, and now he's at the tail end of the lead lap. Jeff Scott able to get away from Jacob Plank. Has been able to pull up to the front four. A little bit tight there off the corner. He's part of that race for third at the moment. Everyone going to be nose to tail, that's without question here at the Kentucky Speedway. Biggest mover at the moment, though, Richard Hurst in car number 15. Had a bunch of Chevrolets bunch of Hursts, I should say, this season. From Richard to Johnny. Richard driving in his self-owned number 15 ride, so don't confuse him with Johnny. I believe his first start of the season. Back to a race for fourth, and Casey has fallen back a couple spots. Barker has moved up to third. Scott trying to take away fourth. But Casey finds a way to hold on for right now. Take you for a ride for a lap here with Matthew Barker in the number 96. Just take a look. Low speeds in the corner is 160 miles an hour. It's a very slow corner with how flat it is. He's looking around the outside. Or I should say down low correction on James Wagner. And he moves up into the second position. And you can hear it full throttle in turns number 1 and 2, around 170 miles an hour. It's some very tight stuff, and speaking of that, Scott throws Casey the elbow. Luckily able to keep it off the wall. Well, that could have been disastrous, and Casey probably not going to be too pleased at how the 38 just raced him. Scott kept his foot on the gas, and I believe the same with Casey. And he gets a big toe up on Jeff Scott. We see a little bit of harder racing between the two. You see Barker wash up the racetrack. And they're 3 wide for third. Casey and Scott make a little bit more contact twice. All this happened right by Wagner. Oh, look out, Casey put below the apron. Man, the two are angry with each other, and Casey dropping down the leaderboard. And you see there is damage on the 38. That fender a little bit caved in. You can see the tire hanging a little bit outward. And that's affecting the arrow off the corner. He lost a couple more spots there. Richard Hurst and Jacob Plank take away 5th and 6th after a 3 wide situation. So that does allow, though, the front 3 to pull away. You see the notable gap between Morton and Steele. 1.3 seconds as Chris Melton making his debut, looking to go up 9 spots as you're on board Scott once again. Good pass from Melton with the push from Casey, and the two are side by side again. Casey tucking it back in line. Casey likes to race people clean, but when it's the final laps, he'll race them hard as Scott scrapes the wall. Salvo has to take evasive action. We've got some good racing for 4th spot. How about Richard Hurst making his way up through the field? Barker may have used up his tires, or he may have dropped a cylinder. Issue possibly underneath the 96. His last lap was a 31.25. Don't know if he hit the wall off of turn number 4, but he is convulsing down the pack. Oh, trouble behind them. Ledford goes around, and I believe is that Jeff Scott also involved? It was. First caution of the day is out here at the Kentucky Speedway. All right, couple things to look at here. We had the replay potted up here. Let's get this in real time. Hurst and Barker. How did he just lose all that momentum? It doesn't really give us too much of an idea there. What if we go to the next pass? Yeah. Happened against Barker by Steele. I think this tells us the tail did. Yep. Rim rode the wall and put her up there. Now we go to the cause of the yellow flag here with Jeff Scott and Jeff Ledford. Ledford just came up into the 38 and sent him around. And guys like Hartman, Jolly, Worley, and others have to take evasive action. Right on board here with Scott. Right now, that 38 looks like it's a wrecking ball out there. Pit stop's underway here, and as you can see, without question, everyone trying to get as much tires as they can. We'll watch the 48's pit box or pit stop in Mark Morton. Renee's watching in the chat. Just saw a comment come in from her, rooting for Michael Casey. Race off pit road is won by Mark Morton. The 4 tires stop. Wagner 3 wide the race off pit road. Hurst beats out Steele. And then Chris Melton. 2 drivers decide to stay out. Richard Hartman and Greg Jolly. We're going to step aside, take our first break of the evening. Stay with us. You're watching the SVT Renegade Series from Kentucky.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme, 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 feel great.
Hi, my name is Henry, and I want to welcome you to Batavia Downs Gaming. We want you to love it, not just like it here. We went to our customers and asked them what we can do better. You said you wanted a hotel, so we built one. More and better food. We did that too. A separate place to smoke and play? We even did that. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel is the right size with the right people in the right location. Batavia Downs Gaming. Come here to dine, stay, and play.
Welcome back here to Kentucky Speedway. Lights just went off the iRacing pace car. We are 1 lap away from going to green. We're underneath our first caution of the day for An accident involving Jeff Scott and Jeffrey Ledford. Both drivers are on the racetrack. Would assume that they used their first quick repair of the evening, or their lone quick repair of the evening, I should say. So here's how the field looks coming back to green. Richard Hartman the third and Greg Jolly, your front row. They did not pit under the last yellow. Everyone behind them took 4 tires and fuel. Mark Morton, James Wagner, row 2. Richard Hurst, Dalton Steele, row 3. Chris Melton, Michael Casey, row 4. Casey looking to recover after he was looking for the lead earlier on in this race. And then Jacob Plank and Dom Salvo round out the top 10. Good start to this one. Saw some really close quarters racing up front and mid-pack. As you would expect with this high downforce package on iRacing. All right, we're coming back to the green flag. Hartman the third, the control car for this restart. When does he go? Goes now. We're back to green. Always tough to see when the drivers go up to speed with this package. Good surge. Just has to be careful that he doesn't get too far ahead. Morton, meanwhile, washes up the track. He's going for the lead. Hurst goes up the racetrack trying to draft the 48. Nearly got turned by Greg Jolly. 3 wide behind them with Melton up in the middle. Dalton Steele may try to thread the needle as well. And the 52 is falling like a rock. Not what he expected, as Morton is back out in front, our 4th lead change of the day. Now it's Richard Hurst in that number 15 who started from the 14th spot up to P2. How does he try to make his move? Just have to see what happens. Top 3 all just ran their best laps of the day on fresh tires. 29.52, 29.50, 29.48. The best was from James Wagner, and he peaks downstairs on the 15 of Hurst for the runner-up spot. Banking advantage for Hurst as he drops down low, able to hang on and play defense for that 2 position for now. And they have a huge gap on Steele and Casey, who are rooting for 4th. Justin Matlock tuning in, rooting for Casey to keep the gold pedal smushed, and same with, is that Leviticus or Leviticus? I'll just go with Levi for right now. Dom Salvo and Chris Melton racing for 6th. Gotta give credit to the start that Melton has had in his first start as well. Started 16th, he's made his way up to 6th. Ooh, up the racetrack, nearly clipped the GM Goodwrench number 24, and he almost got squeezed up by Dalton Steele, who just barely clears. But we've got a race for the lead. Here comes Richard Hurst. Was side by side for just a moment. Wants the banking to his advantage off for 4. He's got it for now, but not side by side. Still 1, 2, 3. Now they're side by side again as Hurst dropped down low. Doesn't have the draft though as Wagner's pushing Morton. Morton's got the corner advantage though in 3 and 4 as he set it in deep. Had to back out the throttle. It's Morton back on the gas first. Has the race lead back, and now Wagner goes for 2nd spot. And he takes it away. Chevy, Ford, Chevy, your top 3. Wagner yet to win this season. It's come close a couple of times, such as at the super speedways. But now could a bump draft from Hurst possibly pay off? Wagner sends it in. Morton tried to shut the door on him. And he may have to let off the pedal too. Look at the gap though between Hurst and Casey. That is 1.7 seconds. That is a well noticeable gap. Wagner for the lead. Sent it in deep, throws the slide job on Morton. And we've got a new leader here at Kentucky, James Wagner, 5th lead change of the day. Your 4th different leader in a field of 18. Because the top 3 raced each other hard, Casey is dropping that gap down to 1.1 seconds. We'll have to check how everything looks in just a bit. Hurst staying tight behind that number 30. Dalton Steele is around in turn 1. This could bring the yellow out. It does. The points leader in the number 45 is involved in an accident. We saw that he had entered pit lane, but we weren't too sure of what had happened. Now we'll know. Here's a look at what happened. Looked underneath Ledford and Scott. Both involved in the first caution, made contact, and Steele, an innocent bystander, luckily doesn't hit the tires in 1 and 2, but does go up the racetrack. Hartman has to take evasive action of it. Let's go on board that number 45. Right there. Bounced off the door of Ledford. He gets it going. Let's see who decides to come in. Pit road should have been open, and we do get some takers. Melton decides to come in. That was a 13-lap green flag run, a little bit shorter compared to the 18. Some drivers may be thinking about tires. Obviously, Ledford's coming in. In Jolly, Hartman, the 3rd without question, has to come in. And same with Dalton Steele. I do want to show you guys something, if we can, real quick. I want to show you that gap between 3rd and 4th, if we can pop that up real quick. Obviously, you can see that gap is put back in place at 0.6 of a second because we're under the yellow flag. But pull up our telestrator. You could notice here how much that gap was closing in, though, big time. So while we are under the caution flag, let's see if we can bring somebody in. Let's bring in, well, we talk with your race leader at the moment, in James Wagner, as we are underneath the yellow flag once again. Let's bring him in. James Wagner, Marty up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
This is the best we've seen you all season, man. How is your car feeling?
It feels great. Feels pretty good.
Walk us through the attempts you had to try and pass Mark there for the race lead. You sent it in and it worked out well.
Yeah, I just backed off a little bit, just trying to take it easy and just going to try to stay out of trouble too, but you know, I mean,
is clean air important here at a track like Kentucky, or is it likely gonna have to come down to battles?
I think a little both, but I think at the end it's gonna be down to battles.
All right, sounds
good. We got some fast cars in here, so it's gonna be a good race.
All righty, sounds good. Best of luck the rest of this one, and glad to see you running out front.
Yep, appreciate you.
That's James Wagner, your leader in car number 30. Lights still remain on the iRacing paced car. Hello to Pete Dillon while we're at it. Let's see who's checking in. Pete Dillon rooting for Chris Melton, making his debut. Just made his way onto pit road for some tires and fuel. Hello to Angie in chat rooting for Dom Salvo. And hoping for safe racing out there. Lights are off here, just off of our second caution. So here's how the field lines up as we come back to green. James Wagner and Richard Hurst, that's your front row. Wagner selects the inside. Mark Morton and Michael Casey, they make up row number 2. Dom Salvo and Matthew Barker on row number 3. Bradley Worley and Jacob Plank on the 4th row. Rounding out your top 10, Jeff Scott and Paul Helms. All drivers still remain on track. 17 of the 18 drivers on the lead lap. One driver currently 3 laps down, that's Peter Hartman. Reminder as well, next week on Slide Job Racing Network for the SVT series, we'll be at Texas Motor Speedway. Start time is always 7 p.m. As you can watch it right here on the Slide Job Racing Network. Back to the green flag, we're off 35 laps complete. Wagner decided to go with the green flag. I honestly don't blame him. With it being a track that relies on drafting Casey out of the groove. It's 3 wide for 4th. Dom Salvo takes away the 4th position. Bradley Worley cracks the top 5 for the first time tonight. As we watch Morton and Hurst race for 2nd, they nearly come to blows entering turn 3. Jeff Scott in the 38 has made a nice recovery. Up to the 7th position after he was a part of the first caution, after he fell back a lot after contact with a man that's legit behind him, Michael Casey, but now Scott goes up the hill. He's able to hang on to it for right now, though. Morton again trying on Hurst for the 2nd spot. Hurst hanging on for right now. Worley now tries Salvo for 4th. That 88's been quiet a lot this season. No surprise with the camo paint scheme. Just kidding, Bradley, if you're watching. Running pretty well. Meanwhile, Barker keeps his foot in the gas, nearly scrapes the wall. 4 wide off for 4. Turns down to 3 wide for a little bit. You see the 6 of Casey going on the apron. Completely legal to do here at Kentucky. Just gotta make sure your car doesn't get tight like the way Jeff Scott's is. We got a race for the lead breaking out, boys and girls. Here comes Hurst, longer way around, wants the banking to his advantage. Will he put her out to the point? The answer is yes. Your 5th different leader of the day and lead change number 6. Wagner trying to make sure he keeps that 2nd spot. Doesn't want Morton to have anything to do with it, but Morton's got the draft with the help from Salvo. Wagner left all by himself, puts his foot on the throttle and washes up the track. Got a allows the 48 to take the second position. Casey's back up there with the pack running in P4. Did see as well a couple moments ago, Jeffrey Ledford just was put a lap down. Maybe that yellow was against him. Made him take a penalty on pit road. Here comes the 6 of Casey. Oh, contact with Wagner. He lets off the throttle. Everybody hangs on. Now what does Salvo do entering turn 3? Keeps it on the high side. Could he go for third here? Nope, doesn't have the chance to do it. Go back, watch some other racing. Greg Jolly in the 13, yet to talk about him a lot. Except for the first caution when he stayed out, up there in 7th. Now, he's got the freshest tires amongst the bunch. Pitted under that second caution, he's made his way up to 7th. So he's got, in clean air, the best car out there. And just look at him ripping it up the top. He may even throw the needle 3 wide. Dom Salvo probably didn't see that coming. And so Jolly able to go 2 for 1 in the 13. Oh, that's tight there. Jolly had a really shallow entry. Had to back off, had to avoid hitting the 24. If not, even Salvo may have turned to the right. Wagner now scrapes the wall, and he's losing a lot of speed. He has fallen off the pace, now 0.6 of a second behind your race leader. Casey low on Morton. Corner into 3, this could go to the 48. He's been so good at turns 3 and 4 tonight. And now look at Jolly come up. The tires are paying off. He's got the best 5-lap average right now compared to anyone else. For those wondering where the other driver is in the 52 and Richard Harmon III, he pitted on lap 32. It was his first stop of the day. He's in 11th. The second best driver on the fresh tires is Dalton Steele. Nothing is working out for him. He is in 9th. The third groove for Jolly this time. Takes away third. And now we have a race for the lead. Casey and Hurst at it once again. Casey looking for the 7th lead change of this race. Remember, he started on pole, 3 wide behind them. Jacob Plank trying to get in the battle for the 4th position, but we're focused on the race for the lead. Jolly up to P2. Richard Hurst, you've got company closing in like Jaws. That's how it looks the last few laps. Jolly can't take the lead just yet. Top 3 all under a blanket. Maybe a 6-car race for the lead. How about the run? Jacob Plank has able to close in. Look at the gap the last 2 laps compared to Plank and Casey. And it's working out pretty well. Top 3 wash up the track. Jolly tries to diamond off at turn number 4. This could help out Casey get a run for 2nd. And at the same time could help Hurst as well pull away. Dalton Steele, Richard Hartman back up there with the lead pack in 7th and 8th. There goes Casey for 2nd. Not what Jolly wants to deal with. Did he maybe burn up the tires a little bit too quickly? Three wide, where did play come from? One of the many debuting drivers here today after signing up during the holidays, and at the halfway mark, he's in third. Now maybe looking for the second position. Oh, trouble! That's Wagner that spun. Jolly's a part of it. Third caution of the day is out. James Wagner, who we were just talking with under the caution flag. It's the third yellow of the day here at Kentucky Speedway. Let's get a look at what happened from our aerial shot. We'll take this at half speed. So it was 3 wide coming off of turn 4. And Wagner just came up into the 13. They hooked and sent Wagner around. Now, this is what got me nervous. You see Jolly with the right front damage. Nearly gets Greg Scott. Actually, I think he got him just so lightly. We'll watch everything else in just a moment, but pit road is open. Watch the stop of the 15. Then we go to Michael Casey to see who wins this race off pit road. So it's Hurst that wins it, followed by Plank, Casey, Steele, and Melton. Greg Jolly decided to stay out. And so he is your leader. Gonna ride on board here with Wagner. Man, did you see Scott save that thing? Right on board with the 38. Get it to me from the front end. Accident's already happening. Going down. He did not expect Greg Jolly to get that low. And clips him. That is some damn good driving by Jeff Scott, ladies and gentlemen. So Jolly now brings the 13 onto pit road. Believe they may have said the yellow was on him. While we are at it, let's get a quick word from the official sponsor of SVT Renegade Racing. That is Protexol.
Enterprises, just like race teams, know when something is broken. They simply cannot meet their expectations. They've tried countless things, and though they sometimes yield small improvements, they eventually fail. Now what? Protexol has spent 35 years building a superior enterprise performance solution. COPS, Continuous Operational Process Synergy. COPS is the #1 strategy for client-owned, top-to-bottom, front-to-back enterprises and race teams to achieve exponential performance. Organizations, like race teams, use COPS as the backbone to win. Everything from car design, engines, pit stops, races, and championships to market segment dominance. COPS equals winning? Yes, it really is that simple. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a leader or a follower? If your answer is a leader, then there is only one choice. COPS from Protexol. Visit Protexol.com to learn more.
Should be 1 to green this time. And that it is. Pete says that the 49 Melton souvenir hauler is outside turn 3. It's pretty funny. Melton, for those wondering, currently restarting. I believe that is 5th, and that it is. So, third caution just wrapping up for the James Wagner spin. And here's how the field lines up, coming back to the green flag. Richard Hurst and Jacob Plank make up the front row. Michael Casey and Dalton Steele are on row number 2. Row 3, Chris Melton and Mark Morton. Row number 4 goes to Jeff Scott and Mark Morton. Rounding out the top 10, Richard Hartman III and Brandon Hinton. Everyone stopping underneath that caution flag. Peter Hartman, the exception, took a wave around. So we are past the halfway mark here at Kentucky. First the control car on this restart. Now remember, last time by, Wagner decided to let the green flag fly before he fired. This time about halfway, we're back to green. First able to hold serve. Let's see who gets second out of this, Casey or Plank. Oh, Dalton Steele and Mark Morton both up the racetrack off of 4. 3 wide for just a moment. And Steele takes away the 5th position. Very quiet. Oh, Salvo got hooked. He's around. And collects Hartman and a bunch of them. Jolly's involved. 4th yellow flag waves. Our biggest accident of the day without question, and we collected a trio of them. Second wreck for Jolly. That may end his day after he was making a nice run with fresh tires. But a tough break for the number 24, who had, without question, his best run of the season going. So here's a look at what happened. I think that looked like a racing deal from that perspective. Really too close. Salvo gets Hartman. Barker with a nice dodge. 50 car involved. Same with Worley. Ledford having to take action. Couple of wild moments there. Here's a look in real time from the speed shot. Just a really, really fast accident breaking out. Ouchie. Gonna arrive with a couple of people here for on boards. We'll begin with Salvo. Nothing really you could do when you got a pack swarming after you like that. Here's Greg Jolly. Was committed outside and had nowhere to go. Here's Richard Hartman. Nowhere to go either. All right, so back underneath this caution flag, and gonna talk here to a couple of other drivers while we are at it. And let's bring in, oops, did I close that out? Nope, I did not. Almost thought we did. And did again. Let's see if our race leader is up for a chat in Richard Hurst. Richard, it's Marty up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Marty, I do.
Alrighty, man. First start with us. You're leading. What are the nerves going through right now with just about 40 to go?
I'm very nervous because, you know, there's a lot of fast guys in this race and in this league. You know, very well put together league. But, you know, I've been pretty fast. I've been able to hold them off. Maybe I can pull some tricks out of my sleeve. But Kentucky is not one of the tracks that I would be expecting to lead here right now.
How do you try and hold everybody else off?
Well, so the inside line in 3 and 4, you know, is pretty slow. So, you know, that middle line is able to hold them off just a little bit. So hopefully we can just hit our marks and keep this number 15 Noma TV Chevrolet out front.
I hear you pushing the clutch in. Do you have enough to go the distance?
Oh yes, we got enough. I don't even know why I'm really doing that.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Alrighty. Best of luck in the rest of this one.
Appreciate it, Marty.
Alrighty. Richard Hurst getting set to come back to the green flag as you're riding on board with him. We have 40 laps remaining. Alrighty. Lights are off. Under 40 to go, and we come back to the green flag. So, fourth caution of the day for Dom Salvo, Richard Hartman, and Greg Jolly. Richard Hurst and Michael Casey are front row, and we come back to green. Jacob Plank and Chris Melton, row number 2. Dalton Steele and Jeff Scott, row 3. Paul Helms and James Wagner, row number 4. And it's Jonathan Vandenberg and Jeffrey Ledford that round out the top 10. Hurst, the control car, coming back to green. He pitted on lap number 52. So we know everyone on out is good to go the distance. See some drivers have made 2 stops, others made 3, some 4, 5. One does have tires remaining if they want to come in and take a set. 20 viewers, I just realized. Thanks for joining us here on Slide Job Racing Network, and let us know who you're rooting for in the chat as we come back racing. I said it's got the push as Hurst and Plank are split up. 15 will be able to hold serve. Here comes Steele as Melton left a gap downstairs for Steele to move up to the 4th position. And now Hurst does some blocking on Jacob Plank. They're trying to break the draft to Michael Casey, who's got to run in turns 3 and 4. Up to 2nd spot, the number 6 goes. Could be going for the lead in a matter of moments. Want the shallow entry into turn 1. Here comes Steele for 3rd. Have not seen him up front since the start of the race. Now, the Monster Energy Toyota is back in business. And as Richard Hurst is leading, I'm going to shut up, turn up the volume, let's crank it up. And we won't crank it up. Yellow flag is out. Every time we try to crank it up, an accident happens. This one's a heavy one. Brandon Hitton in the 50 just had the first tow of the night, and you know that's not good. Heavy left front damage on the man that is making his debut this evening. Let's get a look at what happened. That's Jolly behind him. Oh, Jeff Scott was around. Up in the air he goes. The front end is gone. Now, how did Jeff Scott go around in the 38 is what I would like to know. Oh, he may have gotten turned off at Ledford. And that is not the first or the second time the two have been a part of an accident together. Here's a look in real time from another angle. Yep, Ledford just sent him around. And as we mentioned, the big lick came from Brandon Minton. On board with the 50. Bam! A lot of drivers on pit road to get some tires. It's about a 14 lap differential on tires if you come in now. Casey decided to pit. Hurst, Steele, and Plank all staying out. Steele taking 4, Melton taking 4. I believe Hartman did 2 in fuel. Not fuel only, and then Ledford, Barker, Vandenberg all back. Took 4 tires. So it's Richard Hurst, the race leader. We're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we'll have the restart. Stay with us on Slide Job Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme, feel great.
Hi, my name is Henry, and I want to welcome you to Batavia Downs Gaming. We want you to love it, not just like it here. We went to our customers and asked them what we can do better. You said you wanted a hotel, so we built one. More and better food. We did that too. A separate place to smoke and play? We even did that. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel is the right size with the right people in the right location. Batavia Downs Gaming. Come here to dine, stay, and play.
Coming back to green after our 5th caution of the day. For a big accident involving Brandon Hinton and Jeff Scott. Got a feeling race control may be telling the drivers to give each other some room, specifically those two, or else something could happen. I don't know. I am assuming at this point here. So we come back to green. Here's how the field looks. We had the top 8 drivers stay out. Richard Hurst, Dalton Steele, row 1. Jacob Plank, James Wagner, row 2. Mark Morton, Paul Helms, row 3. Bradley Worley, Dom Salvo, row 4. Then the first drivers on tires, Michael Casey and Chris Melton rounding out the top 10. This race does go green to the end. Those drivers with 4 tires will have the advantage. All right, here we go. Hurst, I believe, has led the most laps of today. Set to bring us back to green. You can see a big push from Plank helped him out. That could help out Plank take second. Clear Steele off at turn 2, the debutants. 1 and 2. Morton low on Steele for the 3rd spot after he was involved in the prior accident with Dom Salvo. Speaking of Salvo, he's back up there too in the 7th spot. Steele shuts the door on the 48. Here comes Wagner. Nice recovery after also being involved in an incident earlier with Greg Jolly tonight. And the field is all single file off of 2. Looking for second. You see Hurst went really high. Steele tries it underneath for the 2 spot on Plank. Under 30 laps to go. Steele sends it in deep. He moves up to the 2nd position. That's the highest he has been in this race. He's trying for that first win of the season, and he's your points leader. Coming on in with a notable advantage, 211 to 186 on Mark Morton. While we are at it, I'm going to shut up, turn up the volume. Let's crank it up here this time at Kentucky. James Wagner got extremely sideways and saved it. That's probably what you heard. Richard Hurst and Dalton Steele racing for the lead, but they got company with a man with 7 laps of fresher tires. That is Mark Morton. Coming to 25 laps to go this time by. Real quick, a look at what happened with Wagner in the 30. It got turned off the bumper of Michael Casey, but a great job at the 30 for saving it. It's your best race on track for second between a couple of veterans in the sport. Steele and Morton, your top 2 in the standings. Coming on in front of them, this guy making his debut. Steele, lower line as Hurst dimes the corner. Up the track though, the 45 went. Something happened where he got loose or something. Morton low for second, but they both have company from Ledford and Casey, who both pitted on lap 65. Casey underneath and takes the 4th spot from Ledford. Top 5, all separated by 0.6 of a second, and racing for the win. Casey for 3rd, Morton again, so good on that 2nd groove. Casey again has the fresher tires, and here we go for the lead. Oh, Steele sideways, but somehow he kept his foot in it and stays side by side. Morton, meanwhile, bounces off the wall. Steele the preferred line in 1 and 2. Can he clear? Casey decides to give the 45 the draft down the back. Advantage Dalton Steele to turn 3, but now turns to Richard Hurst on the 2nd line. Does the banking power the 15 to the front? Has it still for now. Here comes Casey and Ledford and Morton on back. Steele with the defense. And now Steele has lost 2nd to the man with the 13 laps of fresher tires compared to the leader as Casey sends it in. .21 remaining. Steele, or excuse me, Hurst trying to shut the door on Casey, but Casey with the lane. Ledford goes 3 wide. And now it's Ledford and Casey that are door-to-door to turn 3. The two that have the 65-lap tires. Could Ledford go to the point for the first time today out of nowhere? He does. Lead change number 7. You're 7 different leader. We've nearly had half the field lead this race, and as you thought Ledford would, as you thought Casey would take the lead, Ledford said, surprise. She's got a face full of Baja Blast right now. Meanwhile, Steele just threw a slide job on Richard Hurst, and Hurst is hanging on for 4th because Plank trying to take that away from him. Now Casey underneath on Ledford for the lead. Hurst with a run on Steele for 3rd. Everybody side by side all around. Ledford on the neutral line. I think Casey's got him off for 4. Ledford trying to get that drive. We've got a new leader. Michael Casey out in front, but Dalton Steele with a huge run into turn 1. Steele had to back out of it, I think, or else he was darting up the track. But it's Michael Casey looking to join Joseph Causey in the 2-time Winners Club. Ledford trying to do the same thing. Casey won at Dover, Ledford won at Auto Club. Still side by side, allowing Steele to close in. Casey up the track, Ledford to the point. And Steele wants the 2nd spot on Scuffs. He's at a disadvantage though into turn number 3. And same with Jake Plank. Ledford back out in front and trying to open up the gap. Just like he did at Auto Club in the waning laps of that race. Now here's the question that I have. And I don't want to jinx anything. What happens if we get a caution? I think you do whatever the leader doesn't do. If it's Ledford, I want to look at the pit strategy right now. Specifically the pit times. Has he used every set of tires? I don't think he has. But I think you can do whatever the leader doesn't do. If the leader pits, you stay out. If the leader stays out, you pit. Where did Chris Melton come from? Just past Dalton Steele to third. Just went right past the Souvenir Club trailer to break into the podium. This is getting good. Dalton Steele for third, trying to take that back. And now Casey wants the lead for Ledford. But Ledford has been one of the few to master the high side at Kentucky in turns 1 and 2. And now Casey pulls up. Or I think he was trying to play defense on Melton and shut the door right in his face. Oh, Ledford, I saw smoke off for 4. He scraped the wall. And now allows him to get side by side. Dalton Steele get the bumper to Casey. Sends it in. Contact. Steele around. Ledford around. Caution flag comes out. Ledford found a way to save it, but Steele, oh, and a hard hit from Barker in the aftermath. And the new leader of this one is Michael Casey. The drought may be continuing for the points leader. Let's look again. Just contact, just leaned on the 0-1. Got to give credit to Ledford, though, for the heck of a save he made. Then Barker just had the brakes locked up, had Arca brakes. And a heavy rear end lick to Steele. Tried everything to hang on to it. Bam! Right on board with Steele. Right there's the contact. Ledford may have come down into him, but not at the same time. I'm pretty sure we did see that 45 wash up the track, and there's the lick, unexpected from Steele. Barker's on board. Then we have everybody coming onto pit road for the tires. Alrighty, everybody is on pit road. The money stop is happening right here. Steele uses the quick repair. Race off pit road. Ledford, even with the incident, wins the race off pit road. Casey, Hurst, Melton, more in the top 5. Now, this is an interesting strategy here. Ledford took 2 tires. Everybody on back did 4. Will the 2 tires last for about 8 or 9 laps? It's about to get good. We're going to take our final break. Stay with us. You're watching the SVT Gen 6 series on Slide Job Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme Bill Grace.
Hi, my name is Henry, and I want to welcome you to Batavia Downs Gaming. We want you to love it, not just like it here. We went to our customers and asked them what we can do better. You said you wanted a hotel, so we built one. More and better food. We did that too. A separate place to smoke and play? We even did that. Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel is the right size with the right people in the right location. Batavia Downs Gaming. Come here to dine, stay, and play.
Taking you to the end of this one, as we have 8 laps to go and we come back to green. A reminder, next week, Texas Motor Speedway for round number 9 as we are in the home stretch of the championship. Start time 7 p.m. at Texas, Legacy, Texas, to be specific, on Slide Job Racing Network. So it's caution number 6 on the day. Everyone pitting, but we're seeing a lot of strategy. Your leader is Jeffrey Ledford, and he took 2 tires. Everyone on back took 4. Michael Casey is in second. Row 2, Richard Hurst and Chris Melton. Mark Morton, Dom Salvo, row 3. Jacob Plank, James Wagner, row 4. Richard Hartman, the third, and Bradley Worley round out the top 10. It's about to be a whale of a finish coming down to the wire, folks, with the racing that we have seen at Kentucky. What is going to happen and who's it going to be? How's it going to be done? Let's find out. Ledford holds serve. Casey trying to cut down to the bottom and follow Ledford. But had Hurst in the way, now can do so right here. Hurst and Melton racing for third, allowing the front row to pull away. Casey up to the door, they touch it to 3. 4 tires better than 2 tires. Michael Casey back out in front with 7 to go. Here comes Hurst for second. His first start. Wants to start right. Oh, Ledford got from Hurst. Around goes the 0-1 this time. Murray collected it. What a save or not. Melton hits him, and there's the caution flag. Helms gets a piece of that. Peter Hartman also involved. We are not done yet. Definitely not the yellow you wanted if you were Michael Casey. But what a tough break for Ledford. So they were both looking for the same piece of real estate. Gonna watch this from the aerial shot. First off, part 1 was an impressive save. Yeah, Hurst was just already there. Ledford was not clear. Morton got a piece of that. Same with Melton. Hartman got squeezed up in the wall. Steele probably had the best miss of everyone. And that's going to pay off because the yellow came out so late. We're going to show you as well on Steele's side too. We had to rewind it. Apologies for that. This is the onboard with Ledford. Thought for a moment we were going to have the big one. And because that yellow too came out so late, right on board with this man, Dalton Steele. Rewind that shot for us too. He's already coming in up top. Everybody on the apron trying to dodge it. But he passes all these drivers, misses Ledford. Dalton Steele, the biggest winner of all of this. He is back in the race with a chance to win it. He'll get to restart in fifth. So let's look at some of the drivers here. You see some of the damage on the 48 of Hurst right there. That fender is a little bit bent in. Go back on board. See this tiny little scuff right there. And yes, I did not try to draw the state of Texas. But yeah, damage on the 48. Looking at Hurst's car. I want to look at specifically the right side of it. He actually looks clean despite the contact. And Melton, you can see. Nope, that's from the reflection on iRacing. I want to see if he's got any damage too from that incident. I don't think he did. I think that was just cosmetic. So what do you think's going to happen? Brittany's rooting for Richard Hurst in second. A ramen noodle telling Jeff Scott his car was awesome tonight. Fortunately, Jeff Scott done for the night. 12 drivers, though, on the lead lap. And 13, actually, if Ledford can get back on track. Has not used the quick repair yet. Lights are off. It will be a 2-lap shootout. This is not a green-white checkered attempt. Overtime attempt to be specific. But if we do go to a yellow flag, we will begin with our overtime. Here's how the field looks. Michael Casey, Richard Hurst, row 1. Mark Morton, Jacob Plank, row 2. Dalton Steele, Dom Salvo, row 3. Chris Melton, Richard Hartman, the 3rd, 4th. Bradley Worley and James Wagner round out the top 10. Going to be a wild one to the end. 3 miles remain at Kentucky. This is about to get crazy. Buckle up. Casey catches her sleeping. Best restart we've seen by anyone so far today. Hurst has company underneath from Morton. That's just what Casey wants. 3 wide for second, maybe. Dalton Steele could be the odd man out. He's still in the 5th spot, though. Richard Hurst not out of this yet. Trying to get that second groove to work, maybe 3rd groove. But now he's trying to break the draft. White flag is out. We're on the last lap. Hurst with a big run through the tri-oval. He is right there. If he can diamond this, he may get one final shot in 3 and 4. But he could not. Now he tries to break the draft. Half a lap from home. Can Hurst get on the throttle first before Casey can? Second win of the season. Michael Casey, checkered flag. He wins at Kentucky. They're crashing behind him. Won at Dover earlier this season in a hard-fought race against Dalton Steele. This time, Casey takes the W. Richard Hurst, second, led the most laps, I believe, today, but you got to give him credit. Starting 14th and finishing second in his debut. Well done. Jacob Plank also in his debut, finishing third. Dalton Steele recovering from his second spin to finish fourth. And there you see Mark Morton rounding out the top 5. Folks, though, give it up for SVT tonight. They put on a whale of a show. As Casey lights up some smoke. Here's a look at your results from tonight. A 0.2 of a second win for Michael Casey on Richard Hurst. Paul Helms, a nice recovery for him after the incident he had earlier on tonight to finish in the 8th position. Greg Jolly find a way to finish in 10th. Obviously the heartbreak of the night. Jeffrey Ledford battling for the win, finishing 13th after the contact with Richard Hurst. And that is how the field looks tonight. So we will get your top 3 all set to go. Apparently, from the sounds of it, Hurst and Ledford are talking. Gonna have to break that up as we got to get set for the interviews. All right, with that said, let's begin with our second place finisher in Richard Hurst. Richard, a great run for you. What more did you need on that final restart?
I need a little more help from my newfound friend, Mr. Plank there. You know, all 3 of us ran a good race with Mike Casey, and, you know, Plank. Man, what a fun race that was, man. I hope the ending was as good as it was, you know, for us in the cars. But got into a little incident with the 01. I'm very much apologetic to him. Looks like we kind of met right quarter panel with left quarter panel and spun him out. But what a great run. Absolutely.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
I got a shout out to what a great broadcast. I had it on TV the whole time we were racing. Got to give a shout out to, of course, Noma TV, Mr. Signature Esports, the SVT admins. You know, they put on a pretty great show, and I appreciate them having me.
All right, we'll let you go. Great run tonight.
Yes, sir. And Protexol.
Yes.
Got to give a shout out to sponsors.
Yes, can't forget about them. Richard Hurst, our second place finisher. I don't know if this is Jacob Plank. It is Jacob Plank, so let's bring him on in. There's Jacob Plank, our third place finisher. Jake, what do you take away from this one in your debut? A great run for you tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun race. I had a great time racing with these guys. You know, everyone raced pretty good. I needed some long green flag runs there. I'm not too good on short runs, so the long green flag runs were really helping me out there at the beginning of the race, and then at the tail end there in the second half, you know, we had a bunch of restarts there. But all in all, it was pretty fun. Thankful to, you know, be able to be in this league for this race, and excited to be back for some more.
Absolutely. Who do you want to give shout outs to on this run?
I don't know really. Just, you know, like I said, thanks everyone. You know, you guys for broadcasting, and the admins of the league let me come in for Sunday nights and race with you guys. So thank you.
Alrighty. We'll let you go. Welcome to the series and great debut.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's Jacob Plank, our third place finisher. Now to victory lane we go to talk with your winner and Michael Casey. Michael, what a run, what a race. It was not easy though.
No, it was a good race, but very chaotic. And I just want to go ahead and tell James Wagner, the number 30, I did not mean to get into the back of him when I was on fresh tires. So apologies to him. I did not do that on purpose. So no hard feelings, hopefully.
Well, walk us through the final laps of this race. I mean, you and Ledford, I believe, were the ones that had pitted on lap number 62, correct?
Yep.
And you guys were racing for the lead, but you had the guys on the scuff tires fighting back. Is that like the normalcy of this package?
I feel like it is. I feel like you can pass with this package, but tires are super critical. The right sides were getting killed here. Left sides were hanging on pretty good, but you could definitely pass. It's just hard to get any momentum and actually pull away from anybody with the draft being so critical here. So I kind of rode the dice on there, and luckily it worked out. Tires made a big difference here.
It definitely did, that's for sure. What other positives do you take away from this one? Any highlights you had tonight?
Well, there was a lot of highlights, a lot of beating and banging on the track. There was a lot of incidents. It was pretty cool. I haven't been in Victory Circle since Dover. That was the first race that I came back and raced with these guys. So it feels good to be back in Victory Lane, and definitely got some momentum heading into Texas, that's for sure.
How do you feel about Texas going in next week?
I'm ready for it. I love Texas. All the tracks on the schedule that are left for the season are all pretty good for me, so I'm excited to get it going.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run tonight?
Shout out to you, obviously, for doing a great broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the Renegade series. Thanks to the sponsors for keeping this league going. And again, shout out to the number 30 on the bumper I gave to him. That was not on purpose, and hopefully next week I'll be a little cleaner.
All righty, congratulations on the win. You joined Causey in the two-time Winners Club.
Yes, sir.
All righty, that's your winner. Mike Casey gets the job done. Again, a reminder, next week we come to you live from the Texas Motor Speedway. Start time, 7 p.m., live on Slide Job Racing Network. That'll do it for us. On behalf of everyone at the SVT Racing League, Mario Sakala signing off. Congratulations to Mike Casey, your second winner of the season. Thanks for joining us, and go Bills.
Enterprises, just like race teams. We hope you enjoyed this evening's race, brought to you by Protexol. Congratulations to the winners, and good luck to